Your nose. Deep breath out your mouth. Deep breath in your nose. Deep breath out your mouth. Now we're going to take 4 sniffs in the nose and sigh it out. Take a deep breath in and relax. Good. How are you doing
All right.
today, Rigel?
A bit bothered with these allergies. Yes, but it's springtime. It's normal for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So what about
I have
yourself?
a
How are you
question.
doing?
I'm doing really well. Yes.
That's
Good.
good. That's good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm
Good.
happy to hear
So I want
that.
to ask you about, we talked a lot about like the internet, AI, and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And we also talked about our amendments and being able to be able to speak freely.
Mhm.
How do you feel about privacy? Do you think our privacy is compromised now? And if it is compromised, is that really a problem?
That's a deep question. I think it's very multi-layered. I don't see. I don't think that can be answered on like one level. You know what I'm saying? Um, I really find that privacy. Well, it depends. We really have to define what privacy truly is. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about virtual privacy, is that the ideal of you, Richard, being completely out of the loop except for when you want to be? It doesn't exist anymore. And especially when what they say, saying what's in cookies, remains in cookies forever. Saying what's on the internet stays on the internet forever. There are a lot of websites or a lot of different companies, digital companies, who try to eliminate, because a lot of countries, a lot of places on the internet, they do restrict your private information being put out there upon your request. But usually you have to request that, you know what I'm saying? So you have to find out, of all of the millions and millions and billions of websites, the tens of millions of websites, is that where your information could be, to ask them, politely remove my from, saying from your site, remove my information from your site, because I don't want to be contacted. I don't want to be reached. I don't want to even be part of your demographics. But you have to, sometimes in a lot of cases, you have to formally ask for that, and it's a pain in the butt. You know what I'm saying? I remember a long time ago when, Amazon was under scrutiny, because a lot of people weren't able to cancel their subscriptions or their Amazon Prime in the past. Um, Up until now, Amazon Prime has really been, what I'm saying, more of a advantage than a disadvantage. But still, if you want to back out of something, you should be able to back out of a subscription without having to, jump hoops through hoops and move mountains. And the same thing goes with our privacy. A lot of sites, in a lot of countries, there are protection protocols to help people have their information removed. But usually, you have to do so much. Most people are really like, you know what? I'm not robbing banks. I'm not trying to hack, say the NSA or FBI or Interpol. So, you know, I'm not going to go through that trouble. You know what I'm saying? And the real question is, what I'm saying, I can bounce that same question back to you. How important is it for most people, most normal people, to, what I'm saying, to have their information removed? Is it so important that that we should be willing to jump through hoops and move mountains? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's just a matter of right. And once our rights are starting to become compromised, you can have a snowball effect. So just as a
Mhm.
matter of right, and we need to preserve this right, it should be easy or effortless for us
Uh-huh.
to be able to remove ourselves. And as a matter of fact, it should be a default by all these servers, in my opinion, to have it set to privacy, to the privacy settings. And then if we want to not be private, then we can opt out of that. But it should be our default setting to be in privacy. But on
We
a
have
bigger
that though.
note,
We usually have that option though, Richard.
well,
Usually, when we're going into cookies, okay, they say we're gonna spam you with, publicity. We're gonna spam you with commercials. We're gonna spam you with ads. You know what I'm saying? But do you want personalized ads or do you want non-personalized ads? If you want, bro, you can, not use the internet. You can not hop on the web. But like you said before, and I see what you're getting at. Because the internet and the web has been such an integral and important part for us. Recently, that how can we live? How can we survive? How can we, operate? In this day and age without being able to connect, online. So yeah, I see what you're saying in one sense, but we do give them the permissions to do these things, to bombard us with and riddle us with ads, personalized ads, and even selling our browser histories to other companies. You see what
But
I'm
like I
saying?
would like no, like I was saying that it should be a default that we're not put on these cookies lists or whatnot, and
Mhm.
then we have to opt in for these cookies and opt
Okay,
in for
okay,
these things. So
okay,
the default should be automatic privacy, I believe.
okay,
And
okay.
then if we want the enhanced experience, then we have to opt into the cookies. And
Yeah.
so therefore you can just be on a straight simple internet type of search without having all the cookies, and it may be very plain and vanilla,
Hmm.
but your privacy is intact. And I think that should be the default. And then if anything else you want to add to it, which
Hmm.
it entails cookies and whatnot, that should be the opt-in. It shouldn't be the other way around. You should be private, assume private unless otherwise noted.
Okay, okay, okay. I see what you're saying. So from the other point of view, right? So like you said, not being able, not necessarily have to opt out, taking these various steps and actually being cumbersome, like cumbersome steps, but being able to say, I want to opt in. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and I think personally, like I said, personally speaking, I think that is actually a really, really good idea.
Mm.
But I think that we do live in a society, in a world where, we live in a subscription world. We live in a extra services, extra pay. How many times do we travel, on low cost airlines, and we, spending more just on the services than we do on the actual flight, because,
Mhm.
okay, you might be overweight or your baggage might be overweight. You got 3 bags instead of 2 bags. You got one carry on, and you weren't permitted any carry ons, and we kind of opt into that. They tell you, okay, there are options. You could take a car, you can go by car, you go by train, you go by horse or on foot. If you want to use us, you have to abide by these things. And I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's just another way of let's say milking the capitalistic cow. You know what I'm saying? These different companies, especially a lot of these different companies who deal with selling our personal information. When we talk about cookies and things like that, our browser history and things like that, what I'm saying, they're milking the system. You know what I'm saying? And we're trapped in a situation where we're almost forced to have to give them these, like you said before, these rights. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be, contacted by so and so, so and so, so and so. 20 years ago, if you wanted to be contacted, like you said before, you opt for the newsletter. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And now it's
Mhm.
like there are no newsletters because they will contact you. You know what I'm saying? You click those accept all cookies, they will contact you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And in some way, form, shape, or another. And I don't think that that bombardment can be quite heavy, quite I gotta say, especially for the normal person like us. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's kind of like you get what you ask for. You know what I'm saying? You kind of know that that's involved in the situation. You know, and if you want that service, if you want that, if you want to be part of that, you kind of have to deal with it. It's kind of like, all right, when we're, saying on the lines of privacy, it's like when we think about social media influencers, right? Some might, say they might like showing their, they may be on a lot of social media like X or Instagram, but their main platform is, for example, Twitch, especially for the gamers. You know what I'm saying? or the YouTubers who may be on, you know what I'm saying, they may still be on Facebook, on Instagram, you know, on X, you know what I'm saying, but you know, they want to, you know, say they're bloggers or vloggers. And then you have some of those influencers who want to, just to be seen, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to build those numbers. And I think it becomes quite ironic that, you know, a lot of times they want to be seen, and in some cases where they do become seen, where they do pick up those tens of millions of followers, and then whenever they go out, they're kind of like, oh, they're wearing shades and hoodies, you know what I'm saying? Trying not to be recognized. But bro, you kind of knew what was going on by getting into this game, you know what I'm saying? Being a social media or influencer, you know that your privacy, you were kind of like paying off, you know what I'm saying? That's infamy with that fame, you know what I'm saying? And you know that, okay, being able to use this as your new income source, that you were going to be recognized, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times some people say, you know, some celebrities, you can't complain about paparazzi because you wouldn't give up that lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? If it meant that, you know, say you lose your popularity and fame, you can't, you know, say you can't have your cake and eat it too. And a lot of times, you know, say for us, for the normal civilian, it's on the other extreme. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be bombarded, but they can say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, I kind of want to be seen, but not seen so much. Like we can say the same thing. I want to kind of use these services, but I don't want to be contacted so much. But you're using them. You don't have to use them. You know what I'm saying? It's our option to use them. So it should be our option to accept what happens or what comes with that. You know, I'm not saying that I agree with it, but you know, that's the situation, and that was what was passed in a lot of countries, especially the European Union and the United States, as far as permitting companies to use cookies. You know, so I
You know,
agree with you. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges. I mean, I think when you're a celebrity or you're a YouTube celebrity or Instagram celebrity, whatever type of celebrity you are, that is just the price of fame, you know. And I don't think anyone really know what the price of fame is until they actually have to pay the price of fame.
Okay.
Because you know, I'm not a celebrity, so I don't know what it is to feel bombarded by paparazzis. I don't think a lot of celebrities do it until they actually become
Until they
bombarded with
are,
celebrities.
yes, yes, yes.
But they you know they do get paid handsomely for it, and that's what they sign up for. But I think
But
just the
couldn't the same
regular.
be said for us? Couldn't the
No,
same be said
I
for
don't
us?
think so. I think that's why I think that's apples.
We're in
Because
the game,
I
so you know we're using services because it's not like running the internet is free. You know what I'm saying? Running cables
no.
underwater, things like that, that's not free. You know what I'm saying? And the subscription that many people pay for their internet services doesn't usually cover, you know what I'm saying, maintenance, installation, and things like that. But, you know what I'm saying, when they get kickbacks from publishing companies, from publicity companies, from marketers, and things like that, you know, then it makes it worth it for them, you know? So, I mean, it's kind of
I
like,
mean,
you know, we're using a service, you
like I
know?
said earlier today, I think we should just have it the default be privacy,
Okay.
and then if you want to opt into more services, then that's so be it. If that ultimately comes down to maybe saying like, hey, if you want to be on the internet and you want to have complete privacy and you pay extra $2.99 per month, that
Uh-huh.
be it. But it should be automatically assumed that the people want privacy, and I think
Okay.
we should come from that vantage point, and not so much with the bombarding of advertisement, but just our right to privacy, our right to, like, you know, have our information be compromised and looked at. So I think we should always assume that we
But we're
want
putting our
privacy,
information out there, though.
unless we want otherwise, unless we want to use the platforms for free, we want to use certain websites for free.
Mhm.
If we wanted not, you know, wouldn't have like that deluxe experience, then you have to opt in for that. But I think if you have it the other way, like it's been for the longest, and I understand that the European Union what they say about it, but I totally disagree with that.
Okay. No, but
So
what I'm saying is that the fact is that a lot of times when we consider, like you said before, you know what I'm saying, but like I said, you know, I know and I agree with you totally that, you know, when it comes to using these services, you know, it's not the same as celebrities. I think that it is. Yeah, it's a different, you know what I'm saying? It's the same ish, but just a different toilet. You know what I'm saying? It's more of the opposite extreme because we can choose also not to use these services. No one tells us, you know what I'm saying, that you have to, you know what I'm saying,
mm,
you have to use this service, you have to use that service, you know what I'm saying? we choose to, we choose to go to Amazon instead of going to, actually going to the shopping mall or shopping center. We choose to I don't know, to use social media, instead of just calling our friends, picking up the phone and calling our friends. So, nothing is run for free. And the price in this case, that, that let's say digital gold is our information. I'm not saying it's correct, because I still think that if an airline company charges you extra for overbag or for over, what is it, overweight luggage or heavy luggage, I think that's incorrect. But you can choose not to use that service. Obviously, we live in an age where being connected to the web, to the internet, is synonymous with survival, because there are some people who are completely off the grid, but these are people who are like the real Bear Grylls, they they're not connected to any electric companies or things like that, and we might not even know if they're still alive. We have those people like that, but that's that's just such a hard thing to try to fathom for the majority of civilians. So we choose to use services which are, how can I say, where it's easier, similar to, this is really apples and oranges, but we're just talking about the point I want you to get across is the fact of us and our laziness, us and our inability to be more active. We choose the path of least resistance. For example, if I want to cook dinner, and I go to the supermarket and I buy, some salad, some other things, go to the actual butchers, buy some so-called healthier meats and things like that. I'm going to end up spending more for being less full if I bought, a McDonald's, value meal, So society has taught us, this consumerism has taught us, and globalization has taught us, okay, go for the easy option. It costs less. It might not be good for our bodies, but it costs less, it's faster. You don't have to waste your time. You can be less active in it. And the same thing is in most cases, I don't want to stray too far off from the ideals, but I think that, we do really choose, and I hate to be devil's advocate because I completely agree with you personally. But I see also their point of view is that you're using my service, bro. Nothing is free. And that even includes your data and your information. And I'm telling you this when I ask you to accept the browser settings or the cookie settings, accept this at your own detriment or peril, or, for your pleasurement, for your pleasure. If, I'm able to produce for you companies or ads or other websites that will attract you better than, as a male, you probably wouldn't want to be directed to adverts about baby diapers, baby Pampers, you might be thinking, things like, sports cars, sports and things like that, but we choose to use that service, that service costs, So, I mean,
Yeah, it costs, Roger, but the internet is not going to go broke if everybody default setting is on opt out, because they still run advertisements on all the platforms, on Amazon, on Facebook, on Instagram. All they want to do is direct market you, and
yeah,
so
definitely.
I think if it should automatically be set to privacy, unless you opt in for a more enhanced experience, and maybe if that even costs a little bit money to be on some of these platforms, I think people who really crave for that privacy will be willing to pay the $1.99 a month or the two ninety
Okay, well,
nine a month.
definitely,
But
definitely,
but for the most part, most people don't really care that much about their privacy to spend the $2.99 a month. But that's not the point. I think people should always be assumed that their privacy is protected. Automatically assumed, not the other way around where you have to fight for your privacy. That's
well, is
like
it?
that's like that's like being in a society where you're assumed guilty until you prove your
Oh,
innocence.
definitely.
So
But
that's
they still
so
arrest you. They still arrest you if they think you might be guilty. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but you're still
Otherwise,
yeah. This is true,
So,
but you
yeah.
don't
So,
go
like you said,
you're
yeah.
not you're not sentenced to jail though, and so I
Yeah.
think that's the same. that's the same with privacy. And if we want to talk about law, for the most part, most people that get arrested
Mhm.
and get and brought to trial, it's like a very high rate that
Oh,
they're
definitely,
guilty.
definitely, yeah. They're not
It's
going
like
to arrest you. Usually, they
it's
don't
like
like arresting if they're not going to if
they're
they're
not going to be prosecuted
prosecuted.
if it's
Exactly,
not
they're not
over
prosecuted.
95%
Yeah,
likelihood of them being guilty. So
yeah, yeah.
so but I don't know. I just think, but I don't for the most part, I don't think privacy is that important because I think we don't live in a private world. I don't think the government or the big brother really cares that much about you if you're not doing anything detrimental to our society. I
Exactly.
think a lot of people get caught up in the delusion that they think that their life is so important that
Right.
we got to hide everything from the government.
Yeah.
But I think as a society, especially in the United States of America, that is kind of like a ingrained right for us is to have that right to privacy, and that should always be assumed. I think
Well, I think
so.
that's yeah, like you say, yeah, because I mean, even
Hmm.
that's it's been like that, even saying throughout
Yeah.
history, before
Mm,
social media, before
mm,
this data informatics, information technology age,
mhm,
we wanted to always, say, even if you were plotting against the king, saying we still should have been able to meet in private, saying. So there shouldn't be the king or some baron or some duke saying,
mm,
I think they in that crib over there, saying,
mhm,
planning
mhm.
a protest, saying, yeah, let's break in there, saying, and that was bad in that time too, in those times too, So my
Yeah.
question for you is, Rich, some people may think that, in the end, like you said, some people really don't care. I'm one of those people that I really don't care, really personally. But some people say that are some of the proponents or some of the huge or some of the big activists for privacy are people who have something to hide. To what level or to what degree do you agree with that?
I mean, that's going back to like the way our system is.
Mhm,
You're assumed innocent until
mhm,
proven guilty. So
mhm.
we can't just assume that people are just trying to hide something
Yeah.
because of the fact that they believe in privacy rights.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe statistically that is true. I mean
Okay.
that probably is no probably to it. Statistically that is true.
Okay.
It makes absolute common sense. If you got something to hide, you're going to say, "Give me privacy." You
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. Okay.
So
But not
so
necessarily. But not necessarily.
but
Right.
not necessarily, but like,
Exactly.
but I'm just saying, all the people that did something wrong is going to ask for privacy, and nearly all the people
Exactly.
are going to ask.
Exactly.
Nearly all the
Exactly.
people, but that's not saying that all the people that ask for privacy did something wrong. That's a totally
Exactly.
different.
Exactly.
That's a totally different, statistical category or
Okay.
statistical
Okay.
group. But I mean, like I said, that being said, I mean, I just think we should just respect people's privacy in that sense. And unless, I mean, I understand there is an inherent, cost of just going on the internet as you as a person and as an internet as a whole to behold. But we do
Mhm.
need the internet now. The internet is so ingrained in everything we do
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
a
Definitely.
society, so you can't even function. You can't even get
Mhm.
like you can't even get unemployment or like welfare if you don't know how to
Yeah.
use the internet these days. So
Yeah.
it's just very basic for what we need now. And I think the internet has way more than enough money to take care of itself. And, I'm not worried about these big tech companies. I think the big tech companies are putting in like 80% return on their
Yeah.
on their investment. So
Which you're
they're
which you're
really,
not which you're not declaring anyway. So yeah, it's like
so
all
yeah,
free money, right? Yeah. Gross
that's
and
the
net,
least.
gross and net is the same.
Yeah,
So their
yeah,
gross product and their
that's
net
like
product are the
that's
same.
the yeah that's the company I think about least. And like if you take a look at like ABC, CBS, NBC, technically they don't make any money either because
Mm.
those are public networks. So as long
Mhm.
as you have antenna on your TV, you can
Mhm.
watch those channels.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're gonna have to watch their commercials. And if you go
Mhm.
on Amazon, if you go on YouTube,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you go on the social media platforms, unless you pay for YouTube Premium,
Red.
you're gonna
What
see
is it? Premium
commercials.
rock red? Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna see commercials too. So I think
But
that
but the so-called algorithm does show you videos that are related to your previous viewings, your previous searches, and things like that. You wouldn't want to go from watching a video about say about
mm,
the I don't know the First World War, and then the next thing that they propose to you is like I don't know, why do
no,
cats saying
but
why do
yeah,
they knock shit over, what I'm saying.
but that can be really that your information can just be only use. I mean, that's where the slope gets slippery. I get it,
Exactly,
but
exactly.
but it should only be used for that platform to plug into the algorithm to make sure that you
Okay,
have an enjoyable experience. But it's not
okay,
sold to third parties. You know, it should automatically not be sold to third parties, and people should get policed really bad. I believe people should get policed really bad, and
okay,
they should be policed, and they should be punished really bad. Companies should be
okay,
punished really bad when they sell their things to third parties without explicit consent.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, I see what you're saying. No, no. Like I said, for the most part, I agree with you because I think that it has become overwhelmingly burdensome for society today. But like I said, it's kind of like one of those things. Like you could choose not to use the internet. But again, like you said before, considering how saying interconnected we are to the internet today,
Mhm.
it's very difficult to function without it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
that's one of those things that we kind of let them do it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, okay, you know what I'm saying? You'll walk all over me. I'll let you walk on me, walk over me, walk all on me, over me, right? And I'll let you continue. It's not such a big problem. And then when I realize it's a problem, I can say, you can't do it anymore. But you let me do it for so long, you can't stop me now. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to stop me now? You know what I'm saying? So we let them, do this originally. And this probably goes against the point that I'm trying to make, because I think that it's to the point right now, personally, where it's not so overwhelming consumer. But also at the same time, if I let them continue, I can, they could get to a point where it's where it saturates, and it is overwhelming. So where I might think it's overwhelming. It's a slippery slope. You know what I'm saying? It's a very slippery slope. And I
Mhm.
think that however, in any case, by giving so much power, saying, but us as consumers giving so much power to these tech companies, we also kind of exacerbate, we amplify this how can I say this mistreatment, this maltreatment, um, who's wrong? I think we're wrong, essentially. Being able to continue this, I think, like you said before, governments are wrong by letting them continue to permit this type of action. Because we basically have no options in the situation. They've made, it's like kind of, you made someone an addict to something, and you're kind of like, okay, now if you want to continue to receive it, you have to do this. And it's that passive aggressiveness that the governments are permitting for companies to continue to do. We are addicts of it. Whether it's because we're individually addicts of it, or because the culture and the society that we use is addicted to it. Like you said before, I can't collect unemployment. I can't or schedule an appointment to the DMV, or to the licensing office, just to get me a new driver's license, Secretary of State, because I don't use the internet. That's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So, when they say you have to sign on to this site, you have to get an appointment from there, that's taking away that ability, or you're making it more difficult for me to opt out, right? Or be, or optionally opting in. That, in that point, like we said, we're gonna all buy Big Macs, if it costs $2 instead of buying that same meat for $3 at the butcher's, and all of the other ingredients, so which we have to cook, so we're gonna buy that Big Mac, and
Mhm.
I think that the governments in society are force feeding us these how can I say fast food addictions, these fast food digital addictions, and we're eating it
Mhm.
up. We're eating it up.
Yeah, we're definitely eating it up, and but the nature of the internet is designed to be very addictive. That's
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
internet psychology is one of the biggest fields of study at Stanford University and a lot of these other top end universities.
MIT at the moment, also, yes, exactly. Yep.
MIT also. So they everything is geared toward the keeping us on the hamster wheel on the internet. So,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
that being said, there's still no excuse to deprive us of our privacy. Even though I don't
Okay.
think overall is not the most important thing. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
other pressing things like you do want to make sure that there's no terrorist groups arising.
Yeah.
And I think that our government, for the most part, they, I don't know. That I don't know. That's definitely above my pay grade. But it seems like the people that they may be targeting are the
I
people
do.
that tend to be threats. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and
Yeah.
I tend to believe that I tend to think positive about our government,
Mhm.
that they
Yeah.
have overall our best interests
Mhm.
in mind. So
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of infighting. But I think for the
Yeah.
most part, overall, I think we're trying to keep a somewhat of a status quo here in the United
Yeah.
States, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of other countries
A lot of
have
places too. Yeah. Yeah. The majority of
have that
places. Yeah.
majority has that place too. I think it's so
Yeah.
easy to get caught up in conspiracy theories and
Yeah.
thinking that the government is always out to to destroy us and turn us into like some Orson Welles type of book.
Mhm.
But
Mhm. Mhm.
maybe
Yeah. I,
maybe that's just our imagination going a little bit wild
yeah.
too.
No, I mean, like I was saying before, yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying. I don't really feel, saying that the government is after me. I'm no one,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But but at the same time,
I
as
want them to be
a
after a terrorist cell that might be plotting
exactly,
to
exactly,
blow up Santa
exactly,
Monica while I may be there. So
yeah, exactly, exactly.
I
So
do
yeah,
I'm very appreciative of what the government does for me, and I think a lot of people don't take that appreciation. They just it's like what can you do for me? What can you do for me, government?
yeah. I
And
mean,
it's
but it's
like
kind of how we are. It's kind of how children are towards their parents. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
That one time when they restrict us, or they,
mhm,
saying they don't let us go to that party. Like, why can't I go to that party? You know what I'm saying? What you do for me?
mhm,
But they do so much for you anyway. Apart from that, and I think
mhm,
that's part of that's part of society. That's part of life.
mhm,
But obviously, like you said before, if we go back to the idea of privacy, and like I said, I really agree with you for the most part. I was just trying to be, saying the devil's advocate. Is trying to think about where they may be coming from when it comes to privacy. And, but overall, yeah, we should definitely, I think that privacy is an overall right. It is a human right, actually. I don't think that's a civil right. I think it's a human right,
mhm,
to have privacy, and again, like I said before, I even posed the question to you, even if you're a celebrity, should you have privacy? Yes, definitely. You know what I'm saying? It's up to people at that moment when they realize, okay, Richard Roundtree is famous, but that motherfucker is a sellout. You know what I'm saying? He got famous and now he's hiding. You know what I'm saying? That's up to us, the consumers. Is like, you know what? Okay, you know what? That nigga's fake. I don't want to. You know what
but
I'm saying? I don't want
but
to hang out with him. I don't.
yeah,
I
you
don't
can
want to
have.
follow him.
But
So
if you're in a
yeah,
public place, anybody
yeah,
can
yeah,
can talk to you
exactly, exactly.
if you're a
Yeah,
celebrity. So that's
yeah. Exactly, exactly. So even if you're, say you're nobody, so you can still be approached. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
That's not an issue. So I think, but however, you still deserve that privacy. You still deserve
mhm,
that personal space where where you should be able to function
mhm,
without having to have your balls broken, if necessary.
mhm,
Some people do kind of ask for it, but at the same time, just because they ask for it doesn't mean that they deserve it. You know what I'm saying? To be
mhm,
punished. You know what I'm saying? Or to be,
mhm,
saying bombarded or riddled with, saying millions of people, saying they can't even go to have a coffee without, saying having billions and millions of people and paparazzi, saying stalking them, because that becomes very bad, saying? Because even though, like you said before, the price for fame is very steep. Most people don't know it until they become famous and they're paying that price, but they shouldn't have to, like you said, overall. But at the same time, I think that as conscious adults or humans, we should also consider that in some cases, I'm not saying that they deserve it, but it's to be able to complain about it so much is not, what I'm saying. I'll give you an example, okay? And and it's going to sound kind of insensitive, and I'm not, because I think that all lives are important. The loss of a life, whoever it is very, 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 um, how can I say, a serious matter, But I know a lot of people, and I might even piss off some of my Italian friends, um, in the military, in the American military, serving on mission to a place of combat, you're not paid much extra. You're usually, exempt from taxes for that month or for that period that you're there. You know what I'm saying? You're not paying taxes. You may receive some extra payment like 200, 300, $400, depending on your service time and your pay grade and your level, but you're not being paid so much more considering the danger that you're putting yourself into because you decided to join the military. You want to go there, saying you're a patriot, Whereas, for example, in Italy and some other European countries, they're paid like quadruple of what they normally receive. When you're paid quadruple of
Mhm.
what you normally receive, a lot of these people actually there are like lists, waiting lists of people saying, "I want to go on mission." The first mission that comes up, there's a place and there's a space
Mhm.
for a person with my capabilities, my qualifications. Send me. You know what I'm saying? Because they're able to buy off a house in 2 years or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And when those people, unfortunately, they are tragically, mortally injured, fatally killed in accidents, it's a tragedy. But you kind of like you rolled for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you deserve it, but you knew that was a possibility. You know what I'm saying? You knew that
Mhm.
the possibility of not making it through was increased. You know what I'm saying? Tenfold, 20-fold, 100-fold. Why is it such a tragedy now? You know what I'm saying? Were you hoping to be like the other 999,999 people out of a million who made it, who went there, received quadruple pay, and made it back? You know what I'm saying? Were you hoping to be that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you see what I'm saying. Where I'm getting the point I'm
Well,
getting at. You know,
I think most people don't. I think most people don't really understand statistics. So
yeah,
when you don't really understand statistics, then you make bad decisions. That's why a lot of people are broke. They're poor. They don't know how to invest their money properly.
okay,
They make poor decisions in their life because they don't know really how to accurately do a cost benefit analysis. So
uh,
and they don't properly weigh that the cause of death far outweighs any,
that quadruple pay for 2 months, exactly.
or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't for some people, but I don't think
Yeah,
people really truly fully assessed it properly. So
okay. Yeah.
that's what it comes down to, But
And do you think that's the same thing that happens with us when we accept all cookies?
I think that happens a lot of times. That most people don't really understand the gravity of the things they do. They do things
Okay,
kind of unconsciously or
okay, okay,
not with full awareness.
okay,
But
okay.
I think it's also the responsibility of people on the internet and whatnot to provide us the information so we can be more aware.
Okay.
So yeah.
But sometimes we don't want to listen to people who are more aware. We think that
Mhm.
there's the fake conscious people, fake woke people. You know what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
don't want to listen to that information. We're like, okay, they're just fake woke. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not talking about that. Like they should just have the information really clear out there for you. Like say, boom, if
Yeah.
you accept these cookies, this is exactly what's going to happen. Not like
Mhm.
maybe a third party. Like people don't that goes over people's
I'm not gonna
heads.
lie to you though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's possible that they say that because I never read the terms and conditions. It's possible that they say that in
Or
the.
or
I'm sure. I'm
like
not sure. I couldn't tell you.
like we talked about cigarettes before, like maybe
Mhm.
they should have it big and bold. Like, boom, if you accept
Okay.
this cookies, your information will be sold to third parties. So be prepared
Yeah.
to compromise your privacy in big
Yeah. Yeah.
bold letters, and that's it. Then you can have the fine print later, but that's
Yeah.
it. You should make
Okay.
it really big and bold and make people really understand what rights they're given.